everyone. Welcome to the Australian Herpetoculture podcast. How you going, buddy?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. Been busy. How are you?
Good. Been busy as well. Both been busy.
Yeah,
Pretty
we
much
have.
busy as you. Oh,
Yeah.
no. I got a new
Yeah,
job.
man.
Training, learning, doing everything. Courses.
Driving around.
Driving around a lot.
Yep.
Picking up things here and there. You're
Yep.
trying to sort out stuff for baby.
Yeah.
Been busy.
All over the shop, hey? All over.
Yeah. We had a guest lined up for tonight, but they fell ill and feel real bad. Things it might be COVID, but it could also be that influenza going around that's smashing everyone worse than COVID. Have you heard about that?
I haven't watched the news in I don't even know how long. So
well, I only know because
I'm hearing.
My two kids are 38-degree temperatures, coughing, spluttering. They've been doing that, but they're getting over it now. But it's going around like a wildfire, apparently.
Jeez.
Yeah, and I was listening to the radio today, and they were saying that people have got it worse than COVID when they had COVID. So, that's what happens. If everyone was locked away for a while, so those things don't spread around. And
when they do, they go crazy.
Yeah, and it starts at the daycares because everything goes in a kid's mouth at daycare. And the amount of times I've picked up my daughter because she has a dummy to go to sleep, and then you open a bag. And it's the wrong dummy in there. Some other kid's dummy. I mean, it's not their fault. Like, kids will just pick up whatever. Like, if she's crying and she sees a dummy, she's going to pick it up and put it in her mouth, kind of thing. So that's kind of a reason why stuff spreads around pretty quick at a daycare. So
all these things I've got to look forward to.
Yeah, so I'm lucky. I don't really get that sick. Like, I didn't get what they've got. My missus got it, but I've been sleeping next to my son every night pretty much because he wakes up with like a coughing fit and that kind of thing. It's just making sure he's okay. Yeah, still haven't got. He coughs on my face. I'm like, oh, come on, mate, cover your mouth. But obviously he's 3. He's not going to cover his mouth. But so yeah.
Oh, that sounds not like fun. But
yeah, so makes sense while our guest is on. But we're going to reschedule that one, so that'll be a crack at that one, I reckon.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I've been keen for that one for a while.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he works with some stuff that not everyone does. So that'll be really keen to hear about. And not sure if there's a lot of info out there about that sort of thing. So that'll be that'll be interesting.
Yeah. I should have got another beer. I'm almost finished this one.
Might have to. I mean, that's
I've got another one here. I mean, I should have got another one.
The triple backup.
Yeah, the triple. I need that fridge that I was talking about under my desk.
Yeah. What are you on now? You on the Coopers?
Yeah, on the ones you got me. On the Coopers.
Awesome.
It's going down real well.
I'm enjoying this whiskey. I don't know.
It's a night for whiskey, though.
Yeah, it's a bit cooler tonight. So I'm on Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey. This is really delicious.
I tried that.
I don't know where I got it from. I think it was like at Christmas. Somebody got me kind of like one of those little Jack Daniel's, bar starter packs where you kind of get like 6 different sample sizes. So I feel like I've raided a mini fridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is delicious. I'm really enjoying this. Probably a little bit too much.
We might have started a new podcast instead of Carpets and Coffee. Call it something else. Pythons and who knows? Can't think of it.
I was trying to think of something.
So was I.
Whiskey and whip snakes.
Yeah.
No, it's a bit of a cooler night. I don't know about you, but all of my animals are pretty much down now.
Yeah, I've been. Some of them are still feeding a little bit, like the leaf tails. They're still ready to go, but same with the chameleon geckos. They're ready to go too. Actually, that guy's disappeared. So
I think it's a gecko thing.
Yeah.
My geckos have always, out of everything here, the geckos and the frog is what's really still chewing down food.
That reminds me, I forgot that. Ollie sent me a link for some white lips.
Hey.
Yeah, saw Ollie today. But the geckos, that's right. The leaf tails do eat less. I feed them less, but they're still powering along through the winter. The frogs are too, though. Yeah,
I found that they didn't really stop.
Yeah.
The frogs, not so much.
Yeah.
They slowed down, but they're still pretty consistent. I was watching my mag, who's like grabbing large crickets. Well, I fed him this morning just because I was out of sync with everything. And he's just like, I love how they just like grab it and like just shove it in their face, like so aggressively.
Literally shove it. Like me at an all you can eat meat, smoked meat grill buffet.
The eyes go back into the head and they just
Yeah.
start shoveling with their mouth open. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
funny watching them do that.
They're definitely interesting to watch eat, frogs, compared to, like, they just lunge at everything with that much gusto.
Yep.
And whatever touches their mouth is food, basically.
Yep.
Fingers, dirt, whatever.
Yep. I just love how they use their eyes to like push down food into their guts because they can't like swallow properly. It's just kind of like a way for them to kind of push it down. They kind of like suck their eyes into their sockets to force it. Yeah, I love that. It's awesome. So weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. I can't think of any reptiles that do that.
Not off the top of my head. I'm sure there's probably something, but,
but yeah. Ollie's been doing the rounds. He was over here yesterday. Yeah, he's poked around for a couple of hours and hung out and talked lizards, talked frogs, talked everything basically. And yeah, he's kind of checking out the setup. And I don't know how you go when you get other people around to your setup, but like I've been so flogged lately that my animals, I've kind of like let them go a little bit. So I'd like to have the enclosures a bit cleaner than what they are. And I was like, oh man, don't judge me on this, but you know, I'm just so busy. I just haven't had time to.
To be honest, the only person that has keeps reptiles that's come over is you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. I feel very privileged.
Yeah, there you go. That I can think of. Yeah, I had some people come over pick up some boids the other day. If my daughter wasn't asleep, I would have let them come down, but she was asleep. But and obviously I was by myself that weekend with the kids, so I got her down. I'm like, I don't want her to wake up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't think of it off the top of my head. Obviously, I've told some people they can come around next time and that, but yeah, not many people.
Oh, there you go.
That I can think of.
I can't say that I have people around frequently, but Ollie's just moved in just around the corner from me, essentially. So
yeah,
might have
like
a bit
3
of
minutes or something.
Yeah, he walked here. So
really?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. So and then we waited for a storm to pass so he could walk home because he didn't bring an umbrella.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was really good chatting with him and hanging out and just kind of going through everything. And you know, showing him like the green tree pipe. Actually, I think I showed him everything. I got all my Gillens out pretty much.
Nice.
Yeah, got all the babies out to show him. And yeah, I haven't noticed this, but one of my hatchy Gillens that I hatched out this year has got like insane colors to it. Hey, I'll have to send you a photo
really?
of it.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to lose the colors, or he or she, I should say. But it's so bright and so vibrant. It's really quite unique. I haven't seen this on a Gillens before. Not quite this bright, but you know, somebody will probably have something out there like it. There you go, mate. Should have that now.
Oh yeah, I got it then. I've got Facebook open up on the computer for the first time in ages, and it just made a noise. I'm like, what is that noise?
It was me.
Yeah. Have a quick squeeze. Oh wow.
Yeah. Pretty bright for a little grey lizard. It's not so grey.
That's really bright.
Yeah, and
tiny. I forget a small owl when they hatch.
Well, that's not even fresh hatch. That's like a few months old.
Yeah, it's like the size of your thumb.
Yeah, it's insane. Absolutely insane. But yeah, I could tell by the end of it, he was pretty much like, oh, I think I need one of these things. So yeah, I may have rubbed off a bit of Gillen's love on him. So
they're definitely awesome. Yeah, but I had a bit of time to kill between some exams today, and popped up to Kellyville and had a chat with Ollie. So
good fun.
I haven't seen it for a while since we went herping that time.
Oh, that was like 6 months ago.
Yeah, that was the last time I saw him. So
yeah,
no, it was good to have a chat.
It's a good bloody shop there, hey, because I actually went for a poke around just before I got home. Because you said you were there, and I was like, oh damn, I was going to miss you. Because
I'll probably miss you by about half an hour, I reckon.
Yeah, it's not actually too far from my place. I think it's about half an hour or so.
Yeah,
it's a clean shop, hey.
It's huge too. It's huge. Some awesome stuff there too. There's some good enclosures as well. I love that turtle one.
The one with the albino?
Yeah.
Luna, I think it's called. Yeah.
Yeah. It's an awesome enclosure, that one.
Yeah, all those caged enclosures are pretty good. I don't know what happened to them. I could be wrong, but I have a feeling that they went under.
Yeah, I think they shut up shop.
I
think. I think. But they did some awesome enclosures. They did.
Yeah. Yeah, they did some awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huge
actually,
too.
Speaking, those are massive. But speaking about enclosures, I wanted to give a special mention. Did you see that set of enclosures that Wildfire Bearded Dragons and Greenies did for?
Yeah, that's
for
awesome.
Greenie.
Yeah,
for his monitor wall. That was insane. That
was awesome. Unreal, eh?
Was it six enclosures? I think 4 were 1500 by 800 by 600, and I think the 2 bottom ones were 1500 by 900 by 600. So they're pretty much the size that I was going to do behind me before I ran out of time and had to just buy something off the shelf.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're mental. And of course, Greenie put his touch on them with those fake rock walls. So
yeah, come up a treat. I might actually share that picture on the Instagram.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah, no, and it looks like it fits perfectly into like a nook in the wall. Like it looked like there's 2 walls either side.
Yeah. Looks like there's kind of like 100 mil gap either side of the wall just for some extra ventilation or something into the enclosures by the looks of it. But
yeah,
perfect size. And they're tall. Yeah. Like it looks tall when you put those guys next to it. You know, like when they're standing there, you're like, oh, definitely going to need a ladder to get into those top ones. But
especially with monitors too.
Yeah,
you'd want the tamest ones at the top.
I think I need ladders to reach the top of my enclosures, so I can feel that pain.
I needed ladders to reach the top of my enclosures. I could sit in this chair and reach the top.
Yeah, but that chair's 4.5 foot tall.
Yeah, so I still got to do it. I was doing the course today, and I was in like a computer chair, and I'm like, oh, I should stop in Officeworks on the way home. But definitely forgot about that. Might do that on the weekend.
You'll get there, man, and then I won't be seeing much of you because you'll be so much lower. I'll just see the top of your head.
You're blind from my bald head.
No, I mean you're a reasonably tall guy, and that's a reasonably short room. So yeah, you definitely wouldn't need a ladder to get into anything there.
No, I kind of like it though. I like that
makes
look
it practical,
of full like floor to ceiling. That's why what I've got planned will be full floor to ceiling. So,
well, these monitor enclosures I've done, they're only about maybe 150 mil from the ceiling.
Yeah, and you've got the 2 stacked up, don't you?
Yeah.
What are they? 1200.
Yeah.
Is that 1200 internal or is that 1200?
1200
overall.
Okay. Yeah, so there's about, including the little bottom section, there's probably about 100 mil in pelmet to allow for like breathing space and light fixtures and stuff like that, which works out to my advantage because the amount of equipment that I've got in these things that I can then hide. You know, I've got like Miss King tubes and PC fans and UVs and LEDs and all that sort of gizmos and whizmos in there. So, yeah, makes it look neat on the outside at least.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It does look pretty clean.
Yeah. But, I'm enjoying it. I mean, if I had the time, I probably would have built something.
Oh, yeah, but for off the shelf, they're awesome, those ones. Like I was chatting with the other day and said the only thing I don't like about it's the sliding glass.
Yeah.
But that's just personal preference. I just don't like the sliding glass.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I hear you. I do like swing doors, and if they did make something that was like really perfect for something like this, I'd be all over it. But
yeah,
I think that also eats into my space. You know, when I've got a bunch of tubs down here and I'm feeding a bunch of different size stuff out, if I had doors swinging open, I'd be like juggling things around constantly. So,
and I mean, sliding doors are beneficial for certain species as well. Like you wouldn't, if you kept like vans, you wouldn't want to, or monitors, you wouldn't want a big opening full door.
Yeah.
Whereas you can crack that door just a little bit and it makes things a little bit easier. I remember when I had Gillens, I had him in a little exoterra and I opened the door, boom, straight out, went out between the little crack you get between the glass and the hinge and the door. Yep. It's like probably 10 mil straight out there. I was like, you little bugger. And then I'm trying to get him off the guy. I ended up getting him, but.
Yeah. It was funny when Ollie and I were playing with a couple of the Gillens that I'm raising. They're in a little tub just next to me here. Like I need to still shuffle things around and get them into an actual glass box. But they were that heated up. I've just got this little 25 watt halogen above them that just heats up to about 65 on this tile, and they're just sitting on them like cooking themselves. Absolutely loving it. And I went to show them these, and they're just like running back and forth. Like I couldn't catch the little bugger for like a good few minutes. I was like, oh, this is embarrassing. I can't even catch him. He's just racing around the tub like a madman. And when I handed him to Ollie, I'm like, you hold on to that thing tight because if you drop him, you got to pay for him. Like, I'm not going to be able to catch him.
Yeah.
If I can't catch a prickly forest skink, I got no chance in hell with a Gillens at 65 degrees.
They're bloody quick for a skink.
You told me that too. You were like, they're like a Gillens, but a skink. And I'm like, yeah, right. Tropical skink, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, they're awesome. I love them, eh? Like, you don't see them much, but there's something about them. I've never really been a big skink person, but they're one skink that I do like.
Their only downside is that I didn't see them enough.
Yeah.
But definitely. When you do see them, they're gorgeous. Their scales are so different. You know, like they're just so weird compared to so many other skinks we've got here in Australia.
Yep. Yeah, it's almost like a rough scale python of the skinks.
Yeah. They've got those little keeled scales and beautiful little animals.
Obviously, some of your depressor, though, they're pretty awesome too. They're probably one of the other ones that I'd love to keep, but I just don't have space. Yeah, I just don't have space for them, unfortunately.
They're one of those things that I'd love to go nuts on.
Yeah, you could easily too. Easily.
Yeah, I mean, I've got only so much space, and most.
No, I'm saying like you could, like you've got the space, but I mean like it's something you could because they're awesome. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Oh, they're fantastic. My little one that I do have here, he like charges at the glass for food. Hey, like he's so personable. He recognizes if he sees me get the tub down from the top, he'll be in his log like asleep. And if he sees that black tub full of crickets or whatever come down, he's like at the glass, like running up and down, like feed me. I can tongue feed him. I can hand feed him. I can do everything with him. He's such a cool little skink.
It's like my boys. The boys are the same. As soon as they see a cricket, they just jump off the branch straight down to the ground at the door. I'd say that's the only downside with the PVC and like clawed lizards is they do scratch it. It's not bad. Like it's not terrible, but But geckos are perfect for it.
I wonder how that'll go with leaf tails. I don't think you'd struggle too much because leaf tails aren't exactly going to be scratching at the front glass. But
no, not at all. They generally, I've never really had. I think because the way I keep them, I give them a lot of climbing space. But you know, one thing you could do is just put a clear strip of like that PVC perspex, whatever it is at the front that like covers the door.
Yep.
But I mean, they generally just stay on the wall and on the branches and all that. You don't see them on the ground too much. They do it on the odd occasion, but not like the boids.
No. Yeah, nowhere near that much. That's for sure. Yeah, I went into the bush yesterday. Went for a walk.
Yep.
Went and got myself a nice big Gillens log for this enclosure behind me. Yeah. Had to drag it about. I went proper bush bash too, like off beaten track. Your place? Nah. I went back to another place that I used to frequent a fair bit. And I was just like, I'm just going to go for a walk. I'm just going to go down this gully and just see how far I go and see if I find anything. And it was kind of like drizzling and rain. And then I came across this fallen tree. I was like, oh, this is perfect big like Y section branch, and it's probably about as thick as my head. Like, so it's pretty sizey, and I had like this little $7 bush saw with me. Like, anyway, I got a chunk of it and dragged it 2 kilometers out of that gully. That was painful.
Oh, that would have been heavy too.
Yeah, and somebody wasn't very smart and didn't bring any water with him. So
that'll get you.
Yeah, I was almost Ricky Macking it and drinking it out of puddles.
But, I'll find a waterfall. You should be right, mate.
Wasn't much there as far as that goes. There was a lot of water over. There's a lot of water on rocks, but anyway.
Yeah,
not quite there yet, but I'm glad to have gotten that. I just need to cut it down and figure it out. But that should prop up that enclosure pretty nice now.
Yeah. Oh, the bottom one. Yeah. That little bit extra strength kind of thing. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, just put it right to the roof and just kind of support the one above.
Yeah.
Yeah, because those tanks don't have like a pelmet as such to kind of reinforce it. They're just kind of like the top. And I don't know if you might not be able to see it, but there's a very tiny sag in the bottom. No, you're not going to be able to see it, but it's like a few mil sag that you can see.
Yeah.
And
because you've cut the middle out of 2 enclosures, haven't you?
yeah. So I've done that, and I just need to order new glass for it to kind of like double up the glass height. So it's gone from being a 1200 or two 1200 by 600 by 550 tall enclosures to a 1200 by 600 by 1100 tall enclosure now.
Yeah,
but essentially
perfect.
it still looks like it's 2 enclosures because it's got like that kind of middle board in between it.
Yeah.
But it was kind of built as a bay with just like a dividing level. So
Hmm.
never had that in plan, but it just kind of worked out that I'm like, hey, I can save myself some money and probably just spend about, I don't know, $100 on glass and get a big enclosure for my original Gillens. So that's probably going to be the biggest enclosure liters wise that I've done for Gillens ever. So
yeah, it's pretty solid though.
It's a pretty decent sized box.
Yeah, they'll love it. Man, I still can't get over the color of that hatchy Gillens.
It's bright. Hey, did I send you that second photo?
Yeah.
It's
hopefully it keeps that as it gets older.
I'll be interested to see if the back pattern stays nice and yellow, because you know how you see some of those Gillens in the wild.
It's almost like an orangey yellow, like
it's pretty nuts, hey.
Yeah,
and the banding on it's so dark that it's got like spotting in that. It's interesting. Definitely interesting.
So did you jump on any of those books that popped up on that ad last episode?
Yeah, I did. I did. Some of her stuff was a bit pricey for me.
Yep.
But that's okay. You know, I can respect people wanting what they want, and that's all right. But no, I haven't got them yet, but I did get 2 monitor books.
So yes, yep.
I added into that. I think there's one called like Goannas. I think it is by Steve Wilson and somebody else.
It's got the dingo on the front cover.
Yeah, getting chased by the lace monitor or something.
Yeah.
So I got that one, and I got another one. Something to do with. Let me see if I can pull these up quickly. There's another Goanna book, but I have a feeling it was to do with their biology or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think I have the other one.
Goanna, The Biology of Varandid Lizards by Brian Green and Dennis King. And it's got a big picture of a parenti on the front. So I don't know what it's like, but I can't have enough monitor books. So
I just can't have enough books.
I got my other 5. I told you that, didn't I?
That's right. Yeah, the crocodile ones. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yeah, I got 2 crocodile ones.
We might have to start doing a book of the week, like
I can't read them that quick.
Eric and Owen. Yeah, neither. No, just which book have you bought this week?
Oh, yeah. What do you mean?
Not which book have you read?
I almost got a book a day this week, so I've done pretty good. Yeah, I've got Alligators and Crocodiles, The Portrait of the Animal World by Leonard Leroux III. Bit of a decent sized book, but a bit on the skinny side, but no, it looks like a good book. I've had a quick flick through that one. I've got this old one. This one's pretty cool, actually. It's got like heaps of black and white photos as well as like drawings and things, so you can tell.
I love some of the older books. Yeah, that's awesome, that one.
Yeah, so this is just for the listeners. It's Australian Reptile Wonders by Harry Frocker. I can't say that name, but big picture of a Boyd's on the front. It's that's quite interesting. I like flicking through those and seeing like all the old taxonomic names and you know, seeing all the diagrams and stuff like that. I got this incredibly tiny book, which I thought was way bigger, but that's okay. I only paid $5 for it. It's Snakes in South Australia, a species list and overview.
Don't have that book. It's another one I need to find.
Yeah. Apparently there's not many snakes in South Australia, judging by the thickness of this book. But no, there's a few in there, but it's just a basic kind of field guidey type book. Then I got The Australian Story of Crocodile by Philip Holden. This actually seems like more of a storybook almost.
Yeah.
So a bit more of like the history and stuff of crocodiles and you know that sort of gear but it seems very, very interesting. But it's got a lot of stories and stuff throughout it. So I reckon that might actually be a really good read.
Yeah.
But then by far my favorite score was this one for $15. The Cold-Blooded Australians, a unique photographic study of Australia's reptiles, amphibians, and freshwater fish by Gunther Schmieder.
Yeah, that's a nice book, that one. I don't have that one, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I
Get
saw it
it.
pop up. Yeah, I need to.
You honestly do, because like Gunther's work, I love his photographs as is,
Yeah,
and this is such a unique book because it's not like it's supposed to be, uh, you know, a full guide or anything
yeah,
like that. It's just some of his best photos that he's taken, and it's got heaps of habitat shots, and man, some of the stuff in here, especially because I'm a bit of a fish nerd as well, so
yeah,
that kind of helps a little bit. But his photographs are just killer. Like
yeah, definitely.
some of his stuff, I love it. I've shown the young fella at work. He was flicking through here as well, and he's like, "Oh, that's like everything I love: frogs, reptiles, and fish in one book." And he ended up finding a copy of this. I think, including postage, it cost him $45, which was like triple the price that I paid for this.
Yeah,
But he's like, I don't care. It's such a good book. It's worth
yeah,
more.
but even
I
that,
was
that's
like,
still a good price.
oh, like after having this in my hand and looking at it, I'd honestly
It's a
probably
big book
pay.
too.
It's a big book. It's like an A4 size book, and probably I'm going to say at least 250 odd pages.
Yeah.
Yeah, book of that quality, I would have been happy to pay $100 for it.
Oh, definitely.
That's a good book.
Well, it's probably the same size as, or maybe not as big as the John Cairns Turtle book.
I've actually got them next to each other right now. And it's a tiny bit skinnier than John Cairns Turtle book, which is a very big book in itself.
Yeah. But I picked up I got delivered yesterday, 6th edition Cogger, an ex-library edition. I don't actually have any 6th edition, so.
Oh, wicked.
I picked up that one and I was like, that's awesome. That's one I've got now. I just need to try and get the other 6 editions and a couple of the other editions. But yeah, I did get some of those other books that popped up in that ad.
Did you?
As well? Yeah, I got a few. I got quite a few.
Did you leave anybody for anybody else?
Oh yeah, there was heaps. She had some awesome titles in there. Like, because I've bought books off her previously. Like, it would have been 2-3 years ago, maybe even longer. But I think these were her last. So the ones she kept, I think, were all the good ones. Like, she had the whole Danny Brown series, all signed. I didn't get any of them, but I did eye off the Big Lizards book.
Yeah,
she did have a mint copy of that was signed as well. But no, I think I got like 15 books or something. But they're all ones I don't have. No, I didn't. I didn't get any of the go because I had the ones. Or did I? Okay, I have to check what I got now.
I think she was charging like 150 a piece or something like that for these 3 books. Like, as in, like, yeah, they were pretty up there. But if I had the money, I probably would have bought them just because I am a goanna nut.
Yeah.
But one of them was like, oh, where was it?
I got a bunch of ones that I didn't have. I got like a Pythons of Australia. I got one of the Reptile Park, Dangerous Snakes, Snakes, Atlas of the Leopards, Snakes of Australia. It's like a spiral bound book. What else? Snakes and Lizards by McPhee. Pretty old. Yeah, just a bunch of stuff I didn't have.
Yeah.
Similar to the one you got, I got like a. Hang on, did I get the same one? No, it's different. I think. I'm just waiting for the picture to load. But it's a couple of those little smaller, like field guides of, like.
Yep.
That one says Snakes of. I can't quite read the picture because. Oh, here we go. Snakes of the Darwin area by Gow.
Cool. I know Eric was talking about
older
that,
ones. Yeah, a couple of old, older books and smaller ones and stuff. So.
Oh, wicked.
But yeah, keen to get them. So.
Yeah, I'm definitely finding that I'm starting to get a bit more down that train of thought now, and even I'm starting to watch. Like, when I started this podcast, and when I moved into this place and I bought my bookshelf, I had like 1 row full out of 3 rows, and now I've got like maybe half a row left. So I've filled up another row and a half.
Yeah. There's something about books though. There's something like, I know you can get all the information online, but there's something about flicking through a book, and I love like you said before, I love flicking through the old coggers.
Yep.
And seeing like just how stuff's changed. Like you go to the original cogger, it's like half the size of the new one.
Yeah.
Like, it's just amazing. And seeing some of the old drawings and some of the old books, how they used to draw the scales and all that stuff as well. Like, you know.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's I've had a few free moments recently where I'm talking like half an hour or something. I get to sit down and relax, and I'll
Yeah.
come into here, and it'll be like as the lights are going down in this room or something like that, and I'll just like pull a book out of the shelf and be like watching my lizards and just like sit down here flicking through a book or whatever. And
I need to get a comfier chair down here so I can do that.
Yeah, just do it, man.
Yeah, I might go get one on the weekend, and then because everyone, like, my wife goes to bed early, kids go to bed early, so from like 8 o'clock or 8:30 onwards, I'll just come down here and hang out. Like,
you should
read some books. Yeah.
And then we can call each other more. Instead of just texting all day, we can just do this just without everybody listening.
Yeah, that's right. We could do, yeah. Hey, man, have you seen this book? But no, I saw Ollie jumped on and commented on that post, telling me to leave some stuff for people and stuff.
Give it a rest, I think was the comment.
That was it.
That was good.
Yeah, no, because we're always chatting about books too, me and Ollie. So
yeah, he's a good guy. I've definitely started talking to him a bit more recently, but especially since we kind of did like the same Kakadu trip almost.
Yeah.
It was just like a week.
They started and they started in Queensland and went.
Yeah, went west.
Yeah,
yeah, that would have been a good trip actually. I think they did it for longer as well. They had like double the time or something.
I think they left the same time that you guys left. That like obviously I said I was going to leave. When you guys left, they left the same time.
Yep.
We went up to Queensland, and then you guys came back, and then when you came back, they were in WA. Oh, not WA, in NT.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, crazy stuff. That would have been an epic trip. They definitely busted guts and got a lot of animals. So they found heaps of species.
Ticked heaps of stuff off, and it'd be great to see some photos. So see some of them soon. So that'd be good.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I guess what I picked up this week. I think you might be excited. Ooh, and it's something we were talking about. I don't think so. If you read the question or like the brief kind of like somewhat topics for us to talk about tonight, you might
I did skim.
Okay. What does this sound?
Terracotta.
Yeah. I got a whole bunch.
You got some? Yeah, nice.
I got a couple of sizes. So I got some terracotta pot sauces for making into like underground gillians, hides, and potential. I need to go back. I want to get another big one for the Tristas.
Yep.
And I just need to find where my angle grinder is in my
shed. Can't find one. I've got one with a diamond bit on it.
I know I've got one, but I don't know if I've got the diamond bit. So
yeah, I've got it all. So if you need it, just let me know.
Oh, sick. But yeah, I want to like do what you did and just cut out like a little notch and
I had a few people ask me about them, but I like it because you can't see it. It looks natural, but it gives them what they need. And the good thing is, especially with the terracotta, with the monitors, is that'll also hold moisture.
Well, that's my biggest thing.
Yeah,
is the moisture factor, because it's like these big boxes, and with the amount of ventilation and the fans and all the lights and stuff, they get real dry, which I do like. But at the same time, I want to give them that little micro area that they can go to, you know, especially if they're shedding and things. So yeah, it's about kind of creating that little section for them where I can just have some like, you know, cocoa peat or Yuki mulch or something jammed under there, something that's going to retain a bit of moisture.
I just thought of that meme with you and the Yuki mulch.
Oh, for anybody that doesn't know, actually, I don't think I told anybody but you and my wife about that. But yeah, I can't remember the name of the fella. But yeah, you gave me a good laugh one morning. I woke up and I found this guy that had basically turned me into like the Yuki mulch version of Salt Bay in like a suit. That was hilarious.
Sorry,
I've forgotten about that.
It just popped into my head when you said Yuki mulch.
Oh shit! Yeah, but I do like Yuki mulch. There you go.
Yeah,
fair enough. Fair enough. I got the meme made about me.
Yeah, but no, they'll definitely be better for the monitors. The terracotta. Yeah. The only reason I didn't go terracotta for these guys is just because they're so fragile and like small. I didn't want to just in case something happened.
Yeah,
but
a little bit different when you're talking about a 30-centimeter monitor that'll like kick around whatever it wants.
Yeah, exactly.
Compared to a gecko.
A little bit more robust and stuff, but
yeah.
But yeah, that was the only reason I didn't go terracotta. But I mean, at the same time, I keep it moist enough just using the sphagnum moss in there as well. So.
Well, that's it. I mean, you're also talking a tropical environment. You know, like
That's right.
you've got the Mist King going in there a few times a week at least, so that'll kick it up enough. Whereas, like me, I can't remember the last time I misted these guys, so I went in here this morning and I was like, "Rain day, here you go," and then just gave them like 30, 40 seconds, and I was like, "That's enough."
Yeah, exactly.
Just to bump that humidity up.
But yeah, I actually posted the pictures of them on my Instagram, so if anyone wants to check them out, just go have a look on there. And you can see what I'm talking about. You can't, like, if you look at the first picture, you'd look at it and go, why did you just put a picture of dirt up there? Like, you can't even see the hole because I faced the holes to the back.
Yep.
So just purely so they can't see my ugly mug staring in there doing this all the time. Like, but yeah, I just like to leave them alone and do their thing.
Yeah.
Just, yeah.
I agree too. Really. I'm going to do the same sort of thing where you know how you got that facing towards the back. I think that's an excellent idea.
I mean, that's the whole idea of it was a hide, so they can hide in it, not
see you know,
not see me. Yeah. But yeah.
But that is common practice. A lot of people will buy a hide or whatever, and they'll face it to the front of their cage because they want to be able to see the animal.
Yeah.
You know, but people don't consider that breaks up the animal's security. It doesn't feel so secure.
Worst case, if you want to check it, you just open up and lift the hide up. Like, you're probably still, you know, causing a little bit of distress, but
yeah, of course,
not constantly. But
yeah,
that's just it's just what I do. I try and, like, especially with the chameleon geckos, I try and just keep, and even the leaf tails, I'm pretty hands off with them. The only time I do is if I need to clean or if someone comes out over and they want to see one, like. You came over the other day and there was one that was kind of awake and it was pissed off, and you saw I left that one alone and then grabbed the other one out that was easier to get out.
Yeah, you didn't want to stress it any more than it already was. So, which is fair enough.
Yeah.
No, that's wicked. No, I'm excited to give these hides a go. I'm still kind of deciding if I do like the two terracotta, like, you know, on top of each other, the way that you do it. I think if I've got enough dirt in these enclosures, maybe I just need to add a bit more in. Then I'll do it that way, just so it's a bit deeper.
Yeah,
because they're such small lizards. Realistically, you could just do it like one like that, and that would probably give them enough. You know, you might just have to spray under there a little bit more often. But
yeah, but if you wet the top as well, that'll absorb the moisture. That terracotta.
True.
Similar to those, you know, the hides everyone uses for the knobtails. Like, you fill what's like a water bowl at the top. You fill it with water, and they kind of.
Are they still a thing?
I don't know. I think they are. I don't know.
They were cool. They were really cool. They were going around like 5-6 years ago. They were like super popular, and everybody that was into knobtails at the time, they were getting into those terracotta hides and that water bowl in the top that would like leach down all the moisture and stuff.
The terracotta, yeah. But who's into knobtails now? That you know of? Like, off the top of my head, I can.
There's like. They burnt hard and fast, and I remember getting into them to the point where I couldn't give them away. And then I stopped breeding them for a couple of years because I'm going, well, you know, I just can't, you know, be doing this. And then all of a sudden they became like flavor of the month again. Have you seen the prices of knobtails now?
Yes. Pricklids, like your roughs, your rough ones.
Even
like
smooths.
Oh, no, not smooths. I haven't seen anything about smooths.
No, like levis. You'll see them going for like 250 each.
Yeah, right. Oh, that's when I had mine. That was the rate. But that was like, shit, that was over 10 years ago now.
I remember not being able to. I remember not being able.
Last Thursday.
Oh yeah, that's right. Happy birthday.
Thanks, mate. I got your little picture of me squatting down, taking a picture
of a dead frog.
Yeah, of a dead frog.
Yeah, I had to stir you up a little bit and kind of say, well, hopefully we get some good frogs next year.
Yeah, I had a chuckle. I had a good chuckle. But yeah, no, I haven't seen the price of them recently.
Yeah, it's gone mental. And as soon as they come up, they seem to sell. So it seems like they're on the up again, which is quite interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, it's awesome for the animals. I think there's a lot of mixed blood smooth knobbies getting around now these days, which has muddied up the waters a lot.
That started to happen kind of a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
It's when the albinos came out.
Yep. And then they started getting mixed in with levis and
Just try and strengthen
not just
it and-
Pilbarensis and stuff. So
yeah.
Yeah, it was also a race to get him into the patternless
Yeah.
mutations and stuff and start
That's
creating
right.
2 gene combos and all the rest of it. But
And then that kind of just fizzled out. Yeah, they're a bit of a weak hunter, aren't they?
yeah,
Yeah, but albino ones.
yeah. Apparently, you have
I
to.
was supposed to say albino.
Albino, albino python.
But yeah, they're a bit of a weak eater from what I've heard. Obviously, because they rely on the site, but
Yeah, I remember talking to Neil Sonneman about it at one point because he came up for an expo, years ago now, and he was talking about it. And he's like, "Yeah, you pretty much just have to hand feed them. Like you can't let them hunt. They just don't take it. You pretty much need to like poke them in the mouth with the cricket so they grab it."
Yeah,
yeah.
That's probably
I wonder if somebody's nutted that out, or whether that's just an issue just because their eyesight's poor, or like if anybody's done the work to outcross it. I'm sure somebody must have, and I'm probably just glazing over it. But
well, I think they just came, like you said, they came hard and fast. I mean, there probably still is people working with them. They just don't advertise that they're working with them. But
yeah, no, they do look cool. I don't mind the look of them. Like as far as a mutation gecko goes, like they're bloody awesome looking geckos.
But I still love the banded asper.
Oh,
something about banded asper.
Big purple eyes.
Yep. I used to have asper that were like jet black with purple eyes.
Oh, yeah, that's the stuff of dreams. You don't see that anymore.
No, I can't even remember who I moved them on to.
Yeah.
That was yonks ago. Yeah, I can't even remember. Yeah, I still do love the Nephurus. Just geckos. I just love geckos. So what can I talk about all geckos? Any gecko. I love any gecko. I went through a bad gecko phase before I sold everything. I think that's part of the reason why I moved everything on, because I had so much stuff.
Yeah, just almost burnt out.
Yeah.
That happens though, man. Hey, I've definitely been feeling the burn lately with work and having to get things ready for the baby and then trying to like reshuffle these rooms and all this sort of gear and then having to look after the animals. But man, I don't want to go back up in numbers. I quite enjoy this. Hey,
you'll probably find when your baby comes, you probably want to go smaller again.
I don't doubt it. Yeah. It's
and then once they start getting into it, then you're like, oh, I'm just going to go mental again.
Yeah. Oh, that'll be so good. I can't wait for that day. Oh, you want an olive python? Yeah, we'll get you one. Yeah, I'm pretty lucky that my wife didn't want me to get rid of anything.
Yeah, right.
So she was keen for me to, like, she was really upset that I got rid of stuff. And it wasn't that I wanted to get rid of stuff, but I knew that if the day came, I had to. Like, there's no space for anything here, and time and stuff like that. Like, at least by doing what I've done, I've saved myself a lot of time. And it was a smart move. But yeah, she's been very supportive the whole way through. So I'm very lucky.
No, that's
very
good.
Very lucky.
That's good. And you sold your last jungle too.
Yeah, that was a bit of a heartbreak because I've had her for 7 years, I think.
Yep.
So
that was the same when I moved my jungle on. That was the first snake I ever got.
Yeah.
I moved it on. I'm still kicking myself for moving that on. But
I've still got my first snake.
But I don't even know if he's still around.
Oh, right.
Colin. Do you remember Colin Ahad?
I remember
Jungle
the name.
Freak.
Yeah.
Was he Jungle Freak on APS? Yeah, I went to him.
APS. I think I'm Stimmy Luke.
I can't remember what I am on there. But I think I changed my name a couple of times. But I went to him because it was a Palmerston, Montgomery line Palmerston.
Oh, nice.
And they kind of, that whole line almost vanished. And I know he went around and bought a bunch of, obviously he knew I had mine because I'd always post pictures of it. Yeah, he went around and bought a bunch of them to try and bring that line back. But
cool.
I don't know what happened to him. He kind of disappeared off Facebook and
hopefully he's all right.
Yeah, he has some cracker jungles though.
I feel like jungles aren't a massive thing in Australia anymore. Like, not like line stuff. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm just running in the wrong circles, but
Oh no! Do you follow SS Morelia on Instagram?
Sounds familiar. I think I might.
So he has some absolutely. If anyone isn't following him, jump on his Instagram and follow him. He's got some absolutely cracker jungles and cracker diamond pythons.
Sean Carroll.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolute crack. And ZMAC reptiles, I think that as well.
They've got some Emma and Zach.
And yeah, they've got some awesome jungles as well.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I know Sean. I know of Sean Carroll, but yeah, I just didn't realize that was his name on here. Man, that is killer. He's got a lot of good stuff there.
Real good stuff.
Mm.
I did ask him to come on the podcast, but he wasn't a fan of public speaking, which is
that's all right. Each their own.
Exactly. That's what
I'm still getting used to it.
Yeah, but yeah, no, some of his diamonds, man, and his jungles, absolute beautiful.
You know what though? I am, but at the same time, I'm drooling over the diamonds and not the jungles. Because
how good are the diamonds though?
Yeah, he's always had good diamonds.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got some awesome stuff. Oh, check out that. So you don't see that anymore, like real
banded
jungles. Yeah.
They were like Roger Lester had a bunch like that. I think he's still. You think he's still going, Roger Lester?
He's still mucking around with a few things. I think he just keeps quiet to himself these days.
Yeah, but yeah, he had a bunch like that. But yeah, guys like that are just working on them. But you don't see that much anymore. There's real black and yellow banded. But I like the. I do like them. Don't get me wrong, but I also like the Palmerston locale, which has got like the flecks of the yellow through the black.
Yeah. Like the tipping.
Yeah, the tipping in like the black scales. That's just my personal preference. But I think he has some striped jungles that are Palmerston locales.
Yeah, right.
That are unreal from memory. I have a soft spot for like striped jungles.
Yeah.
That have got
Tell you what, if this is a page that, you know, if you like Morelia and in particular yellow Morelia, whether that be Diamond Jungle or Darwin, this is a page to come. And potentially coastal? No.
I'm not sure. But yeah, absolute cracking animals on that page. I just find every time he posts a picture, I'm drooling over it.
I do like my Morelia, that's for sure. But I'll stick to the small stuff. I'll stick to the Viridis and the Carinata.
Yeah, I agree.
Every time I still get my Ruffy out, I'll just be like, oh, this thing's just sick.
But there's something about diamonds. I still have this thing for diamonds. And these things for jungles. I think I don't know if you can see that one. I'll tag in it. This is like the kind of the flecking I was talking about in it. Like when that animal gets older, that flecking turns yellow. Is that?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah, that's kind of what my jungle looked like. Yeah, it's that Palmerston. But man, I just find every time I flick through his page, I'm like, I've got an old bird aviary outside. I could put diamonds in that.
See, I've always wanted to do diamonds outside.
Yeah.
And that aviary would actually be perfect for it, I reckon.
Yeah, I know. I said that to the missus.
How would that go
down? Not too bad, actually. She asked if I could keep green tree pythons in it outside. I was like, it gets too cold here.
Imagine being able to have that as like a sunning cage during some of the warmer, but not the warmest months.
I ran through my head a million different ways that I could keep green tree pythons outside. Be a bit hard, but yeah.
Yeah, you definitely struggle over our winters and stuff like that. That's for sure.
I was thinking those big infrared bar heaters that you get for decks and stuff. I was thinking put one of them over it, plants in it.
Yeah.
A greenhouse.
You could probably greenhouse it.
Probably could.
Yeah.
Or I could just get some, keep them in here.
Yeah. Know that they're safe.
Yeah, that's right. But I'd have a chance, definitely.
Yeah.
With greens.
Diamonds out there would be pretty cool. I reckon if you were able to swing even just like one pet diamond or something like that would be mad in that thing. That'd be
She'll come around one day.
You'll have to, okay, well, here we go. We'll just have to, next time we want to do anything, let's bring her down here and poke the greens in front of her and I'll like.
Oh, she loves green tree pythons. Loves them. She'll hold them. Like when I had mine, she would go in and get them out when I wasn't home.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, like she sent me a picture of just her holding my greens, like while I was at work. I'm just like, make sure you shut the enclosure when you put them back. But no, she loved them. Loved green tree pythons. So when I mentioned it, like green tree pythons, she was like, the only thing she hates is rats and mice, and that you got to feed them.
That's fair enough.
Rats and mice. She just cannot stand rats. Native mice and that she's fine with, but that's just like the European rat, no chance.
That's a little bit of a perfect segue. Do you want some native mice?
I thought about it, but
I can hear a whole bunch of babies squeaking in that tank now.
You've got more babies, don't you?
Well, either that or they keep having fights, but no, I'm pretty sure there's babies in there because basically they do this thing where they all of a sudden they just stop coming out of their hides.
Yeah.
Because they're in there looking after the babies and they'll like race out for food and then they just quickly eat and then they disappear again.
Yeah.
But can you hear them? Have you been able to hear them tonight?
No.
I can hear them plain as day. I'd be kind of annoyed if it came out on the audio, but there's nothing but squeaking mice in this room at the moment. It's
I can't hear him. I suppose you can't hear that frog behind me.
I can. That's my little fella, isn't it? The fella crow going off. Yeah, I've heard him a few times tonight. Does make me happy when I hear him croak.
Yeah, they're awesome. They're awesome. But that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Another round. Oh man, I tell you what, these backgrounds for those exoterras is dragging me out a bit.
Oh, have you got those new ones yet?
Haven't got them yet. Today I got the final proofing, and I just need to tweak one of the backgrounds.
Yeah.
But the images and stuff are all good now, so he's happy with those. So hopefully by this time next week I'll actually have him in hand because once he does it all, like it doesn't take much for him to print.
It doesn't take long. Yeah.
Yeah. So he could even have him knocked out by the end of the week.
Yeah. Nice.
But yeah, that'll be good to have those out. I've held off connecting up the Miss King to the actual system on those enclosures because I know that I'm going to have to pull it all apart.
Yeah.
So
every time I do that, I get water everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, it just seems to come out everywhere. Hey.
Yeah.
Carpet and water, not my favorite things. But no, that'll be good. And then I've just got to finish off these other two enclosures. I've got the images sorted for them.
Yeah.
Just don't have the bank. So
yeah.
Soon.
That'd look good. I'm gonna have to go get another beer, I think. I'm out.
Oh. Well, there you go.
All right, I'm full ready to go now.
You got more beer. I got more whiskey.
Yeah, I'm good to go.
We're golden.
Having a good one tonight. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Oh well, the rate we're going, it's good old yarn. I like it when we get on a roll.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. You can just tell the mood's good. We've got the energy.
We haven't really had a chat for a while. That's the other thing too.
Yeah, we probably haven't chatted properly since last week, like apart from like the on-off message here or there, which is pretty standard. But yeah, good stuff.
You're rocking the Tiliqua Freaks jumper there too, Luke.
This is a relic.
Yeah.
Old Colin Schumacher.
Yeah.
And the Tiliqua Freaks. Is that page still doing stuff?
I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Are blue tongues still a big thing?
Yeah. Yeah, blue tongues still are. Did you see that morph that Joe
had? Sorry, I did, yeah. That was an absolute cracker.
That could have caused a little bit of controversy, I think. But
did it?
I think so. I think when anybody posts something that's kind of, a bit of a first or something up, then it gets a bit of stick. Yeah. Those things are crazy though. They're like a pied pinstripe leucistic looking thing. I've probably messed that all up, but
what would I want to say? Het for carrot or something like that? Het for strawberry.
As Owen would say, het for hippopotamus.
Yeah, that's the one. peanut butter het for hippopotamus. The good thing is though, with the blue tongues though, I think having the morphs, all those different types of morphs and stuff, is that will bring a lot of beginner keepers in to the hobby.
Yep.
Because one, they're easy to keep. A lot of people want a blue tongue, but if you can get this albino blue tongue, you can get a black blue tongue, you can get a peanut butter head hippopotamus, you know, like
pinstripes,
yeah,
patternless Easterns, all that sort of gear that's out there. Yeah,
and same with the beardies too. Like I'm not a big like beardies. It's not my cup of tea, but at the same time, like I stopped in to chat today at Kellyville Pets, and he's like, "Oh, have a look at this thing." I'm like, "That's actually like it was a super colourful." I wouldn't know
that like fire red looking thing with like the kind of stripe down its back. Yeah, that was insane.
And I'm like, I could see the appeal of that in a shop. That sees a kid walks past and sees this red dragon. It's like, oh my god, that red dragon! I want that, and that's his first forte into reptiles. Like, you know, it's awesome.
Yeah, they definitely.
But that's the good thing with the blue
dragons too. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know about you, but if you had to kind of suggest a beginner reptile out of a bearded dragon or a blue tongue to a first time keeper, what would you suggest?
I would say, I don't know. It's hard. See, I'd probably say a beardy, just because they're a little bit more arboreal. But I prefer arboreal animals, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But at the same time, yeah, either, personally.
See, my personal take is if I have the option, if somebody's willing to hear me out on it, I generally say blue tongue.
Yeah.
I find that they just, excuse me for a second. I find that they tend to be a little bit more bulletproof. You know, if a kid's going to be picking them up and mucking around with them or something like that, then they're probably a little bit more tolerant of that sort of gear without breaking. You know, if they're out of the cage for a bit longer than a bearded dragon, they tend to hold on to energy a bit better. So, you know, if they are actually experiencing that sort of stuff, not that I'm suggesting it, but if UV was to be lacking, they tend to be a little bit more tolerant to that sort of stuff as well, whereas they might be able to pick things up a little bit easier from the variety of food that they eat in their diet. So they're just my thoughts, but blue tongues are just generally hardy. I don't know about these dwarf things, but like a standard blue tongue or something, you're probably pretty golden.
Yeah, no, definitely, but
but dragons have that dragon appeal.
Yeah, and exactly. Well, look in the US. Look how popular they are in the US. I think they're the most kept species of reptile in the US now, I think, as a pet.
I could be wrong, but I want to say that the bearded dragon is the number 3 pet behind cats and dogs.
Yeah, as a reptile, it's the number 1.
Like that.
Yeah, in America, it's insane. Like, you can see why it is.
Yeah.
You know, like, people want to sit and cuddle their reptile, like, those things will do that to a degree compared to, you know, it's not my cup of tea. I don't want to sit there and cuddle my reptiles. Like, but you know, you get that.
Sure, it lays a big steamer in your lap.
Yeah, that's right. They stink too.
Oh,
but you know, and you can't keep them on sand because you know it's bad for them.
There's some shocking things.
But you know, I mean, at the end of the day, people are going to keep them as a pet. So
yeah, exactly.
People have different views on that, but
no, these blue tongues are pretty crazy looking though.
Yeah, that's definitely,
for sure.
Definitely. But it's good to see. It's good to see.
Yeah. Well, so we had a couple of kind of like basic sort of topics that a few of our listeners wanted to talk about. We kind of last moment chucked up a bit of a, hey, do you guys want any sort of questions or anything answered by us or thoughts as such out on the Facebook page? Not sure. Did you share it to Instagram at all?
No, I was busy today.
No, fair enough. I can't blame you for
Except
that.
when I was chatting at Kellyville Bears, but other than that,
well, you were distracted then, so that's okay. Yeah. So we had a couple of people ask. I'm going to have to jump back onto our page because I have completely lost where I'm at. But one big question that got put out there, and perhaps we'll touch on it at another stage as like a full topic, but is about animal enrichment in captive environments. I thought that would be a pretty good thing to talk about for a little while, because I think it's something that Jeez, we both got like the frog in the throat today, don't we?
Yeah. Let's drink
Need more
beer.
liquid. Yeah.
What's that saying? Great minds think alike. I wouldn't say great minds, but you know.
All drinking buddies think alike.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So Luke Dunn kind of posed the question about captive reptile enrichment. So I thought maybe we'd just touch on it a little bit, and then maybe we could see if we could get somebody on to talk about it in a bit more depth. But some idea that I actually had come up, and I'd thought about it, and Luke Jongens actually confirmed my thought for me. But essentially was adding into these monitor enclosures that I built a form of enrichment that's really easily replaceable and doable. And that's kind of creating like when you go to the zoo and you see like the koala enclosure and they have like the big PVC pipe that they filled up with water and they stick a whole bunch of gum branches in there and then they've got fresh browse to kind of peruse. I essentially want to do the same thing, but on a smaller scale in these monitor enclosures and kind of paint that tube a little bit better and kind of make it look a little bit more blended into it. Yeah. So
pretty cool, yeah.
That's a form of enrichment that I'm going to be bringing to these enclosures, and I'll do it for the frill neck and stuff as well, and probably down the line for like the bearded dragon and stuff. Seeing as I've got so much forest and stuff around me now, it's not hard for me to walk down the street and walk past 30 gum trees and collect a few branches here or there or whatever, and add some leaf litter into the enclosures at the same time. But that's just one way that I'm thinking about adding in a little bit of enrichment into these enclosures. And like we talked about it, I think it was might have been with Steve.
Yeah, when
we were talking about like even just dragging a mouse or something through an enclosure is a form of enrichment to get some pythons hunting and not catching a meal, straight away. Yeah. So even doing something like that's just a form of enrichment that I don't mind doing from time to time. But what about you? Have you got any sort of like thoughts or plans as to how you might kind of further enriching animal life there?
To be honest, with the leaf tails and the chameleon geckos, they're kind of almost creatures of habit. And without like, studying them in the wild and that kind of thing, I wouldn't know what their home range would be, so to speak. So like I find if I watch these guys over nighttime, they've almost got like a routine.
Yeah.
They'll start on one perch and then they might go to the next perch.
Yeah.
But then they'll go back to that perch and they'll poo in the exact same spot of the enclosure without fail. Like you saw the other day.
Yeah.
You got the male in the one behind me, goes up in the corner. You got the other one in the other enclosure, goes down the front corner. Like they've almost got their spots. So I don't know, as there's not, I don't want to play around with them too much, so to speak. Like, it worked for me previously, not messing around with them. I got eggs, I got hatchies, got strong hatchies too. Like, I think I had maybe one hatchet that didn't make it out of a couple of hatches didn't make it out of the egg, but that might have just, there was no egg tooth. So in my mind, that's just, a weak hatchie doesn't make it. So I don't kind of want to bring that into the world. But at the same time, so I don't know whether, I don't want to mess around with it too much because I don't know whether it will be detrimental to them. So it might be interesting to see once what I've got settles in, if I get some eggs, to maybe do that, and see if it does maybe affect that. But at the same time, I'm not, at the moment, I'm not going to change too many things.
So have you got any sort of like ideas in place that you would, like any sort of things that you would do in particular, or are you yet to kind of think of anything that you might kind of muck around with?
Not really. I'd probably just move perches around, to be honest, because that's kind of all you could really do. But at the same time, like I think a lot of these leaf tails and stuff, they live on the same big tree.
Yep.
In the wild.
Yep.
And you've got certain species of phalaris and stuff like that live in these tiny little pockets of micro habitats almost. They're found on like one mountain range, so their range isn't huge. But I'd love to get out there and see them and photograph them and watch them in the wild and see how much do they move, like that kind of thing. Like, are they on only the same rock face?
Yeah.
Are they moving from one to another. But yeah, I'm not
It'd be
too
good to
sure.
be able to spend a bunch of time trying to just watch the same animal.
That's right.
So, like, for example, when Todd and I went looking for those Moritz and stuff, we came across a particular Moritz that was on the exact same tree, and it was the exact same animal that he'd seen previously.
Mhm.
And like he pretty much went, okay, we're getting to a tree where I saw one last time. Oh, there she is right there.
Yeah.
And it was like clockwork sort of thing.
Yep.
But that's a limited sample to know what she would have done in
That's right.
between those 2 points. So is she
Yeah.
got like a little home range where she's going between a couple of trees or
Yeah.
whatever? Or is that the one tree that she goes to every night and she sits there and she waits for whatever to walk past her mouth?
Yeah.
So it'd be cool
But
to kind
I'll
of like,
watch
yeah,
the stuff I have here, or even previously when I had more leaf tails.
Yeah.
They would hide in the exact same spot every night. When it came to hunting, they'd go to the exact same spot every night. Like even now, like if you look at the ones behind me that I showed you the other day, they go to the exact same spot every night, and they'll sit there and wait. Nothing comes, they'll change branch.
Yep.
Like, you know, but it's only like 200 mil to the next branch, so it's not huge. But in the wild, that might just be the same tree, but shuffling around to the other side.
Yeah.
You know, like because some of those trees are on a massive.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. Obviously, enrichment might help them a little bit, but I don't know whether it's certain animals that, you know, go large distances. Like monitors, for instance, I think they would benefit 100% from enrichment.
Yeah, I agree. Versus a gecko, 100% I'd agree.
And they're a little bit smarter as well. Like, so, you know.
Are you saying that geckos are silly?
Oh, a little bit. Just like the guy that likes to keep them.
Hey, I didn't say that. But,
yeah.
You know?
But yeah, no, that's just
I agree. Yeah.
my thought on it. Actually, I've got more books up there. I forgot to talk about earlier. Anyway.
Oh, we can always
just looked up.
around.
There's a pile
Maybe
of books
that's
up
where
there.
we'll wrap it up as we'll go back to Jason's other book pile. Yeah, I'd agree to that. With my geckos, I probably don't muck around with them nearly as much as something like the monitors and stuff. I think I kind of want to challenge the monitors a little bit more because they do seem to be on a bit of an intellectual difference with the geckos. But have
you noticed though that your Strophaurus will bask pretty much on the same branch almost in the same spot?
Yeah, or in the middle of the bloody cage.
Yeah, on the glass. There, yeah, I can see that one's always there though. Same spot.
Oh, he's always there.
Yeah,
always. Yeah, I do find that they go to that, but I also kind of wonder, do they go to that exact same spot because they don't have much option?
Yeah.
Here's actually something interesting that I found out with my Williams eye. So they're up in that enclosure there, right? So that's the old Felicipoda enclosure that I built that has a lot of rockwork in it. Guess where they hide during the day?
In the cracks or the rocks?
Yep. So I was talking to Ollie about this yesterday. I was like, where they come from, do they have no other option but trees? And if they had rocks there, would they prefer to hide in the rocks if they had their shot? Or is it just out of sheer convenience that that's there?
Or is it the fact that you've got heating above it, so those rocks are a little bit warmer than what the rocks would be where they are? So like the rock crevices where they're from might be cooler, but you're providing that warmer.
I don't heat them.
Yeah. But you've got your light that comes on.
I've got my lights that come on above.
Above, yeah.
Yeah. So but they don't hide on the top.
No.
They just go straight into the deep cracks where there's no particular heating. Yeah. That would just be like ambient.
I'm trying to think what my Williams I did.
I mean, I wasn't planning to put them in that cage with that, but I just thought that was kind of like a little bit of an interesting observation. Because like I'm pretty much guaranteed that most days, all three of them will be hiding in the cracks.
Yeah. Instead of on the branches.
Instead of on the branches.
Interesting.
So are they preferring that because they like the rocks, or am I not providing? I think cricket just fell from the ceiling.
I heard that.
I hope that's what that was. Is that because that's what I'm providing them, or is the branches that I've provided them not up to scratch according to them?
Yeah, maybe.
So that could be something too. It was just weird, you know. So I was like, oh, I found this interesting. It's just a little behavior that I've started noticing.
Yeah. But yeah, I definitely reckon dragons and monitors and some snakes definitely could use with enrichment for sure.
Colubrids, I'd say, would
definitely
benefit from that, and probably vens as well.
Yeah, they move around quite a bit, and
probably a bit more so than pythons. Although in saying that, pythons, no, I disagree with myself there. I like giving enrichment to my green tree pythons.
Yeah,
I try to do that to encourage them to move, whether that be new branches or some cut palm fronds or something like that.
It was interesting watching Matt and Christie's video when they were herping up in Iron Range.
Yeah,
you know, and they basically said like they could go back to the same tree and find the same one, but you know, they're on branches that are like a twig sitting during the day instead of these big fat branches that everyone thinks that they need, but they're on something like less than a quarter the size of that.
Yeah.
You know? Like that was pretty interesting. When they showed that picture of that one sitting up in the tree,
it was just like hanging onto the leaves.
It's pretty much hanging onto the leaves almost. I was like, wow, like back when I kept them on like a thicker branch, but I never thought to put tiny little thin branches in there.
That's something I've actually noticed recently with my male green tree python, because he's in that 4 foot by 4 foot or 120 by 120 enclosure. And because I've put all those different kind of thickness branches and verticals and stuff like that in there, and because he's separate from the female at the moment, and it's coming into that time of year, he is moving like no tomorrow. He wants to get up. He can smell her in the enclosure above.
Trying to get up there.
He's a randy little bugger. So I'm glad that he's at least still having a crack, but he's not going to have a crack. But yeah, he's been kind of like perching in all different positions now because he's kind of been on the move. So wherever the lights come on, he just ends up flopping and sitting. But he's going from like he's sat in like the one spot every night for a few months. Like he'd move around overnight, but he'd go back to that spot. And now he's moving around the cage and sitting in all these weird little positions. And some of the things that I'm seeing him hang off might only be like 4 mil thick, like little tiny vines. But he just looks like perfectly coiled over the top of them. It's really cool to see him use all those different thicknesses, like you were talking about.
Yeah, but it's something I never thought of when I used to keep them. I kind of had like a thicker branch, but
yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah,
or you'd go and get like dowels. I used to, when I first had them, I had like these perfect like 15 mil dowels in like an enclosure or whatever, and I'm like, this is the epitome of a green tree python.
That's what you need. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Bible said that's what you need. Have you got the Bible?
The
complete chondro.
Let me consult the bookshelf. I got the more complete chondro. I don't have the original.
Yeah.
So, interesting book.
Yeah, no, it was good. I read it. I read both cover to cover.
Yeah, I think I did actually read this one cover to cover.
But I do like Justin's new one too, Green Tree Pythons. That's good.
I do. I do really like that book. I feel like it might. I don't know. I felt like I might have wanted a little bit more information in that one, but I did enjoy it. So, yeah, I definitely think that was a step up, and I did like a lot of the natural history stuff in that book. I thought that was really good. That was the thing that I really enjoyed out of it. And from memory, a lot of that was like Australian populations and stuff as well, which was a bit more relevant for us. So, no, I did enjoy that book. That was a good one.
Yeah. Good. No, we had a few more questions.
What else did we get?
Everyone wants to hear about green tree pythons, boids, and chameleon geckos and leaf tails. Everyone loves the chameleon geckos and leaf tails.
Take it away, Mr. Jason.
They're awesome. More people need to keep them.
Well, yeah, they are.
Yeah.
If anybody doesn't know, we actually did do an episode on leaf tails.
Yes, that was like one of the almost very first ones, I believe.
Yeah, and maybe we can revisit
first 10 or something.
Yeah,
but give that one a listen. But yeah, I think that the biggest thing was everyone thought they were hard to keep. Same with boids too, because there was that don't keep them on heat and all this and that. But I'm not I wouldn't say I'm a guru on boids or anything like that. But the more people are keeping them now, and they suit perfectly for bioactive. setups. Leaf tails, chameleon geckos, boids. So I think, that's kind of a thing at the moment. So that's probably why those species are, people want to kind of hear about it. But they're awesome to keep. I love them.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely do enjoy them, and that's why a few more bioactive tanks will be sneaking into the lounge room pretty soon.
Yeah.
Not sneaking in. My wife knows they're coming. But
you're not like me.
Yeah.
But
at least Kim won't be listening right about now. But yeah.
No, she loves she does like them. But there's, I don't know, like what was the question? A breakdown on how you keep them. It's kind of
Why don't we kind of go like, we'll do like a basic overview or something from like species to species about how we've both kept them or keep them. I mean, we'll probably keep them pretty similar. So
I pretty much keep them all very similar. I'm obviously going to change a few things coming up soon in the next few months or something, but it's not really going to be different to the way I keep them, but I'm just going to aim for more natural species of plants. Native, not natural, native species of plants. But yeah, basically no heat. I don't keep heat on any of them. In saying that, the boids do get quite a bit of heat from the UV when it's on.
Yeah, those T5 high outputs, they do put out a little bit of warmth up high in the enclosure.
In saying that, I do notice when it comes on, they get right up near it.
Yeah.
So it's almost like they're getting that heat. But I kind of keep chameleon geckos, leaf tails, boids the same, exact same pretty much. The only difference I'll do is branch sizes, whether, backgrounds and stuff like that. But pretty much, no heat, bioactive.
So let's elaborate that a little bit more, because I feel like somebody will turn around and ask you to anyway. So I'm going to ask the question as if I'm the listener,
interviewer, and the listener.
So with your geckos, like you said that you provide UV for your boids. Do you provide any UV for your geckos?
No, I don't. I've never have.
Yep.
I mean, it's not something. I might try it in the future, to be honest. The chameleon geckos, I probably wouldn't.
Yep.
Because they, like, if you jump on my Instagram, you can see the hides I've got. They don't come out of those hides during the day. They're basically under that hide until the lights go out. And once the lights go out, they come out.
Yep.
The leaf tails, though, you will get some that will bask on, say, a vertical branch. You'll get some that'll be on the background or whatever. But then the way I used to keep them was I used to use a lot of cork bark. So I'd have cork bark slabs everywhere. And they'd be underneath the cork bark slab. So if you had a UV light on, they're not getting any of that UV. But in saying that, I do have plant lights as well. But I mean, obviously it's not really beneficial to the gecko, but it gives it that day-night cycle. That's about it. But I've never put UV on them.
Yeah, I didn't used to keep UV on geckos. Obviously, I do now just because I'm dealing with a lot of like arid stuff that would have access to it. But in saying that, when I did use UV above my leafies, they seem to, now it could either be they wanted the UV, so they'd sit under it, or it could have been they actually wanted that little bit of extra warmth from the UV.
Yep.
So maybe they were actually seeking it out. But I actually had them.
The white berber?
White berber, cornutus, white berber, and cornutus.
I've noticed my white berber like to sit upside down on the roof of the enclosure.
Yeah, I'm talking about like they'd get into a wedge like in the top of the enclosure near it, rather than, and like I'm not lying, when I come in some mornings the UV would click on and I'd watch them walk to it.
Interesting.
Something that I saw, I think Mitch messaged me actually as well. His white berber do it.
Yeah.
So where maybe that's just species specific with that one, but I did see cornutus hanging around underneath it fairly often, and it wasn't like they would like hang in the same spot all the time. But
yeah,
who knows?
I might try that in these new ones.
I mean, if you can, why not? Even if it's just like an
Exactly.
hour a day, so you're not
Yeah.
chewing electricity and chewing through globes. Like,
Yeah.
never know, that might end up in like better calcified eggs or something
Yeah.
as well. So it could just be something to be somewhat beneficial. Obviously, you're not going to put like a 14% desert globe
No.
above them, but
No, I'll do like
you'd just be
5%
using
or
like
something.
something weak, like a 5 or a
Yeah.
7%. Um, but yeah, I mean, I did run UV above them. I'm not going to say that it was necessarily needed, but
Yeah.
you know, I just kind of went
But it's
down the route.
interesting to see though that they
100%. Yep. And I've seen my Fimbria using it again, whether that's heat or UV that they're after.
actually I
I don't know.
lie. I have UV above my Wyberba right now. Only
Oh, there you go.
because my hatchling Boyd's enclosure is next to it.
Yeah.
And the T5 goes over both enclosures.
Yep.
So there you go. I might actually watch that next video. I might put the camera there.
Yeah. Oh, you guys, see if something happens. It's only worth a watch.
Yeah.
I like tinkering with animals though in that sense, and just seeing those little behaviors. And if they seem to like it, then I kind of go, well, maybe I'll leave it.
Yeah. But yeah, my older setups before what I've got now, that was pretty much just Exoterras, bioactive substrate, plants, and cork bark slabs.
Yeah, I feel like your old setups were very aesthetically simple, but they looked really neat and good. Like they were very, very practical for the animals.
Yeah, that's exactly what they were. But I'm going to my new ones, I'm going to try and go more range specific, if that makes sense.
Yep.
To where they're from. Obviously the plants probably won't be for the same range, but yeah, just purely that's just me wanting to do that. I don't know if it have any benefit to the gecko whatsoever, but yeah. But yeah, that's the way I used to keep them. I got eggs, bred all the species that I had. Never had an issue. But I used to also say, I think I've said on that first one we did, I set up a big pot filled with quiet peat and sphagnum moss, cut a hole in it, and I'd sit that under a cork bark slab, and I'd have 2 pots. And I'd bury the pot. You could pull one pot out without disrupting the soil, and then that was the lay box.
That's such a good idea, especially if they just use that specifically.
Yeah, they did. The only ones that didn't were my Maritzi.
Yeah, okay.
They never went in it. But Cornutus did, Wyberba did. Actually, the female Wyberba would hide in there during the day.
Yeah, right.
She'd be on like just sitting on top of the substrate. Yeah, Maritzi did. Cybrosis did. They all did except for the Maritzi. They would lay at the bottom of the background.
Yep.
Right down at the bottom.
Do they do that behind like the bird's nest ferns or something that you used to have in there, like near the root ball, or they just do it in like kind of like an open space?
They just do it in an open space.
Yeah, right.
So, and then I just kind of got to the point where I'd stop getting eggs out for the Maritzi and the Wyberba. So
yeah,
they just started hatching in the enclosure, which was pretty cool.
Oh, wicked.
Yeah. But pretty basic, but still at the same time functional and nice. Like they still look nice. But yeah. But the chameleon geckos were kind of more vertical, skinny branches, upright.
Kind of like the same thickness as their torso or their
pretty
head
much,
thereabouts.
Yeah. I'd say the largest ones are about 25 centimeter diameter, but I'd go all the way down to like
25 millimeter.
Did I say centimeters? Yeah, 25 mil. But the skinny should be skinnier than your pinky.
Yeah.
And you'll see them on those ones.
Yeah. No,
like the one he always barsts on is the one that's probably the thickness of my pinky, just behind me.
Is he still on there now?
No, he's gone. That's a leaf. I don't know where he's gone.
He was there earlier, wasn't he?
Yeah.
They are bloody cool geckos, though.
Yes, they are. They're so underrated. More people need to keep those.
They're one of those ones that I reckon once, kid's a little bit older or something, and I start creeping things back in, I might have to get one off you. Even if it's just to have one in like a mad 90 centimeter tall enclosure. And
definitely. Well, that's what I have. Like, I'm planning on nice tall enclosures, so that's the plan.
Do you reckon they'd use that full height?
I had him in 60s. Oh, that's 60 behind me, 60 high.
Mm.
I have seen him at the top of the 60. So I don't see why they wouldn't use them. For hunting, probably not, because it's too high. Because they're not as quick as some of the other geckos. Like, they're not slow, but yeah, they're not lightning fast. They can move relatively fast if they want to, but not as fast as you think.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, well, I mean, leaf tails aren't exactly quick either,
no.
but when they snap at something, they're pretty quick.
Yeah. These guys are the same, probably a tiny bit slower. But they may use it, but, you know, just offer it to them. If they don't use it, they don't use it.
Yeah. Well, that's all you can do, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's no different to me putting Gillen's monitors in these enclosures here and going, well, I hope you use it. I was pretty confident they were going to use it after seeing that one in the wild, though, and then lo and behold, they use every inch of what they're given. So
yeah, I mean, these guys will climb up to the top of that enclosure and sit up the top.
Yeah,
but
well, there's no reason why they won't climb 30 centimeters taller.
No, that's right. It's only 30 centimeters. Actually, probably a little bit less, but maybe 25 or something. But still, you know, if I can give them a little bit more space, it's better than nothing. But
yeah,
I think I said last episode I plan on doing a little bit of a cohab enclosure. So
I'd be interested. I'm going to be interested to see how that goes. Apparently good. So, you know, we'll see how it goes with your lot there. That'll be pretty mad though.
Yeah, that's something I always wanted to do, and I'll set up the camera like you've done on a bracket pretty much right in front. Just let it record all the time. So
that'll be mad.
Yeah.
As far as keeping your boids, you're obviously keeping them in a bioactive enclosure as well. That's your one's pretty tall. It's 120, isn't it? You got 4
foot 120. Tall. Yeah, 4 foot tall, 90 wide, 60 deep.
Yep.
Yeah.
So mine are in a 1100 tall or 110 centimeters tall by 1 meter wide.
Yeah.
And 60 centimeters deep. And I've got a pair in there. Although now watching them, I reckon they could probably do with something taller. You know, I reckon one day I'd like to strive for something like 6 foot tall.
Yeah.
I reckon that'd be a pretty nice height. Plus, it'd be awesome to walk into a room and see one like perched at like eye level. I reckon that'd be mad. But, you know.
Look unreal.
Space is a premium. So,
yeah.
Something to strive towards.
Yeah.
But yeah, lots of upright vertical branches because they like to hug onto branches like that. But I don't know about you, but do you have any sort of like diagonal or horizontal branches?
Yeah, a few that come off.
Yeah.
The upright ones. I've got one that kind of like goes on a couple of angles and then goes up.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. They do use it. But they generally seem to sit on the upright ones right at the top of the enclosure. I would love to get them. I think when I change stuff around, I'd love to get them like when you were here, we spoke about that bit of a dead space I've got. Yeah. So I'd love to use that whole space as one. And, you know, kind of just change things there and see how that goes. But I'd love to give them a higher one to see if they use that whole height, which I think they probably would.
I reckon they would for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that space that you're talking about, that's like 120 by 60 centimeters by about, what, 2.2 meters tall?
Yeah.
I reckon they'd use it. Like, hands down, I reckon they'd use it.
Yeah, for sure.
And especially after looking at both our pairs of boids and then seeing Cooper's boids in the flesh.
Yeah.
Like, Cooper's adults, man, they make ours look like tiny little hatchies.
I can't believe the size of them. When he pulled that male out in that video, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's like almost the same size as my frill neck. And that's a big lizard.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I do, going back to those branches, I do have like a couple of branches in there that are on a bit of a diagonal. And I find that my female in particular loves just like draping across them with all 4 of her legs just like hanging.
Yeah.
And she just like balances on her belly. And my male does get up there from time to time and use it as well. So, you know, I think if you are going to set up boids, maybe just throw a couple of extra branches in at different angles as well, just to try to give them the opportunity. But yeah, I do find mine sit up high. They definitely sit up high majority of the time, and they will like sit in the leaves and stuff like that as well. So they seem to be kind of tucked away. What about your green tree pythons when you used to keep them?
So I had those guys in, what was the height? I'm going to say it was, so I had enclosure made, and it was 600 wide, 600 deep by 900 high. But that was only for an individual.
Yep.
But it was 2 enclosures that was side by side. So my male and my female side by side.
Yep.
And I just used fake plants back then. That was before, like, I kind of knew about the whole bioactive kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh, man, my first green tree python tank was horrible.
Before that, they were in a tub while I was kind of getting it ready, but, you know.
Yeah.
But it's saying that they were only small still. They weren't fully grown when I got them, so.
You raised yours from pretty young, didn't you? Were they hatchies, or they were just like juveniles?
No, they were juvies. So they were sexable juvies, I think. They were, how old were they when I got them? I'm going to say they were about 2 when I got mine. So they're still relatively old. But yeah, then I got those enclosures made and did that. So
yeah. I think my first enclosure that I had put together for one of mine was, it's like 1 meter long by about 500 tall and 600 deep.
Yep.
And I remember having like these removable dowel perches in there, like really horrible bark that I put on the bottom of it. And then I had like these 2 10-liter plastic tubs that I'd fill up with water, and I'd have one on the hot side, one on the cool side, just to try to make sure there was heaps of humidity in the enclosure. Because I remember the guy that I got my first green tree python off, it came with the enclosure, and he's like, just keep the enclosure exactly like this and you'll never have an issue with it. And he had branches in the enclosure, just a couple of kind of like thicker gum branches or something that went side to side, and he had like a pothos vine in there, and he had a water bowl on either side of the enclosure, and he's like, yeah, you got to have one underneath the heat, so then it like gets all the humidity going in the cage, and then you got to have one on the cool side for drinking, and you got to mist them twice a week, and you have to do this and you have to do that. I don't do any of that anymore. Hey,
got to spray the, got to do this, got to do that.
No.
Yeah.
My adults, I might spray them a few times a year.
Yeah. You know? I spray the enclosure. Like I used to spray my enclosures, but I never sprayed directly on them.
Oh, see, that's sorry. I'll rephrase. I spray my enclosures maybe a couple of times a year.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of plants in with them, so I probably water the plants like maybe once every couple of weeks, like not that intensely. But yeah, I don't go overboard for humidity for them. Hey.
But it's saying that having the plants in there and all that increases your humidity naturally anyway.
Oh,
so
100%.
So you don't really need to go spraying this and spraying that and doing all that kind of stuff. Like,
no, but I'm just talking about like, how people go and like, oh, you have to spray them in the morning, spray them in the evening.
Yeah.
Got to make sure you spray the individual snake so it drinks. No, not in my experience. I reckon that's going to create a lazy snake that's not going to go looking for water.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
So nowadays I have one male that's in a 120 by 120 by 60 centimeter enclosure with lots of vertical branches, lots of horizontal branches, and a few plants in there, and one big water bowl down the cool side of the enclosure. And then my female's currently still in her same enclosure, which is 120 by 60 by 60 centimeters.
Yep.
Just because I didn't want to change things up on her, saying she's punishing food and stuff again. And her enclosure is pretty bare bones basic, just lots of branches, and I just heat them with heat panels.
Yep.
Which are a thing of the past. Yeah. Man, Australia's in the dark ages again. And you can't get heat panels in the bloody country. So, yeah.
Which is a shame. It'd be interesting to see how the IR heaters go with them. I'd be interested to see that. But a low wattage one, though, like a real low wattage
or something.
Yeah. Do they do 40s? Can you get 40s?
No, 50s is the lowest. 50s is the lowest I've seen in any of the brands.
Yeah.
I reckon they'd be okay, but I reckon like it's just they're not too bad as a heat goes. Like I find they're a bit more of a broad, less intense heat.
Yeah.
That's just my especially if you're talking low wattage. High wattage is a bit different, but I think you just have to have it down low. See, this is the other thing is a lot of people cook their greens. They have them at like 32, 33 or something like that at the hotspot. I definitely find that's a bit too warm for them.
Yeah.
The only time I ever see my greens actually use that is if they've had like a massive meal. In saying that though, I had an interesting conversation with a fella not too long ago that keeps some of his greens outside. Now I believe he's like mid-north coast New South Wales. And I don't know if he just takes them out into like sunning cages or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But he was temp gunning his greens and they were 38 degrees and they're sitting in open sunlight. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And they had plenty of option for like shade, plant cover, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting just to see them actually sitting out and using that. So
if you think of, yeah.
I kind of posed the question too. I was like, are they using it for the UV? Are they using it for the heat? Are they using it because they're currently very cold and they're just warming up? Like, yeah, I don't know. I've never seen my snakes, my green tree pythons, use any heat near that. If their heat's like, if I set their heat to 32, they'll sit on the opposite side of the cage.
Yeah.
That's just my snakes.
Now he's temp gunning the surface temperature of the skin, obviously.
Skin. Yeah.
Interesting. But in saying that, just because you're set it at 32 doesn't mean they're going to be 32. You know, like they could probably get to 32 sitting where they're sitting.
True.
Have you temp gunned them when they're sitting on the other side?
Yeah, generally they're lower than 32. They'll be like 30. High 20s or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. But then again, I've heard of people keeping them just at 28 degrees.
Yep.
No issues.
Ambient.
So, yep.
So reptiles are weird, hey? Like,
yeah.
It doesn't matter, like, doesn't matter what I do, doesn't matter what you do, doesn't matter what somebody else does. You can all get the same result doing all these different things amongst the same species. That's just mental. Like reptiles are just so. I actually think they're very adaptable, more often than not. But
yeah, like I kept white over outside, and they got to like 5 degrees, and they still eat, still hunt, still laid eggs. Like probably even got colder than that, to be honest.
After being to their habitat, mate, that wouldn't surprise me with them.
Yeah,
that was a chilly night.
But and they still hunt. So you know, and like I said previously, it's cold. Like my room now, I think it's like. I'm cold. I got a jumper and long pants on, but I can tell you what the temperature is in here right now once I just open up my thingo. But
I'll get the old Grid Connect open.
Get the old Grid Connect open. It's 17 degrees in here now.
Really?
And all the leaf tails are looking for food. Yep. And the chameleon geckos.
That's not even that bad.
Yeah, you're probably colder than me.
No. I'm warmer, mate. This is a desert room. We've got 10 and 20.
Right. 20, yeah. So these gets down to 14 recently that I've noticed, and these guys are still out looking for food. Obviously, like I said before, I've kept them colder, but
I should actually see where this is trending.
But yeah, like you said, there's a million different ways to skin a cat.
Yeah.
And everyone can get the same results by doing different things. So at the end of the day, you just got to find what works for you.
100%.
But obviously, like with your leaf tails and those more tropical species, you don't want to blast them with heat.
No.
And same with the forest kinks. I keep the forest kinks the same way. At the moment, they're just in a tub, but obviously that'll change as well. But yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've ordered enclosures, you're just waiting on them. So that's just
that's right.
A bit of time, a bit of patience.
Yep.
And
then it'll be a bit of time, a bit of patience once I get them too, because I've got to do a few bits and pieces. So
are you going to, well, here's a question for you. Are you going to start, like, because I know you want to do backgrounds for a few of them. Are you just going to start building them before you get the tanks? Or are you going to get the tanks and then build them into it?
I was thinking about that the other day. I might, because of what I plan on doing, I probably could start and just do the 3 different sides. And then because I'll have cracks and crevices and this and that. So I could probably do the size. It doesn't matter if it's not bang on because I can I can play with the the distances and do this and that and fill it in and whatnot. But yeah, I was thinking about that the other day. I might even start trying to knock some out because I can get like a rough dimension, but get the rough dimension and kind of work off that for what I want. And that way, when they're ready, I can just slap a couple in. But the biggest thing is trying to get the plants. What I spoke about last week is trying to get the plants to go.
Yeah. I'm interested to see how those guys go because I mean, Australian plants are one of those things that you just don't seem to be able to get nearly as frequently, and especially in sort of what you're doing, kind of getting, you know, a whole bunch of essentially wild plants sent down to you. Or that particular guy looks after a lot of plants, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So yeah, that might be pretty cool.
Yeah, and I'm going to hit up I've got that native rainforest nursery up the road from me that I'm going to go to as well. Get a bunch from there too. So
yeah, that'll be sick. I did like that when we went to Kellyville today. They had like 3 foot by 3 foot Exoterra that was just kind of like decked out with plants. You see that? Cool. Yeah, a little bio tank that they've done.
Yeah,
that's pretty mad. I got a little version of that at work with a jungle carpet in it. It's not quite as full of plants as that.
Yeah,
they're good fun. I do enjoy the bioactive tanks. I'm really I'm going to enjoy putting together these ones for the green tree pythons and watching them change color.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Something I want to do one day.
Get them out of these tubs.
Yeah, it's just a personal preference too, I guess, as well, and what works for you. Like, obviously, not everyone can have big ass enclosures. But
no. I mean, we've all been there where we've done the other stuff. So
yeah,
you know, I've had everything in racks. I've had blue tongues in racks. I've had, you know, I've got goannas in tubs right next to me.
Yeah, I got skinks in tubs. Forest skinks. Yeah, but I just can't wait till I can just come down here, have a beer.
Hopefully, not long, man. By the end of this year.
Yep.
I reckon we'll both have everything done. Hopefully.
Yeah. I just got to grow my book collection. Build a bigger bookshelf.
Well, before we go, what are those books that you were talking about?
Actually, I can't remember if I did speak about these. Hang on, I'll go grab them.
I can just watch these little frogs jumping up and down in your tanks behind you there. Jason's just moved out of the way so I can actually see them. Oh, just a small stack of books, mate. What's there? There's like a dozen there.
Oh, not quite. What did I get? So I have in my hot little hands Frog Watch Field Guide to Victorian Frogs.
Oh, that's cool.
It's a pretty cool little guide.
Little parents on the front.
Yeah.
Head of parents? Yeah.
Yep. I think it is. It looks like it. I'll hide that invoice.
Don't let the wife see that one.
No, can't go wrong with these.
Those are relics.
Some more
$600 each?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. In the plastic too.
That's crazy. Mint condition.
Got this little
How many copies each of those you got now? You got to be getting up there in numbers.
I've got pretty much 2 of everything, except for the gecko one. I got a few of the gecko ones.
14 of those or something.
No, not that many. But this cool little field guide. It is Steve Parrish, A Wild Australia Guide, Frogs.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's a little field guide of frogs. That was an eBay purchase, that one.
Good on eBay.
Yeah. And I got another copy of still in bubble wrap.
Oh, that's one of Steve Wilson's.
Yeah,
that's
Steve
one of
Wilson's. I think it's the first edition. I think some of the bubble wrap haven't actually opened yet. Yeah.
Is it a brand newie?
No, I think it looks pretty. It's in really good nick. Like, it's in super good nick. Like, obviously all my books are in good nick because I don't really do much with them. But I think it's the first edition. Maybe the second. I think it's the second.
Is it this one with the Spinogerus on the front?
Yes. Yeah.
That's the first one.
It's the first. There you go.
Yeah, so I just pulled the second one out. That's the second's got another stroff on it. What's that got? That's got a golden tail.
Golden tail, yeah. But then I've got two of the Reptiles of Australia: snakes, lizards, turtles, and crocodiles.
Oh, they're cool.
Cogger.
Yep,
they're a cogger. I got another one of the Frogs of Victoria, Victorian Frogs Field Guide.
So you got two of those.
Got two of those. Can't have too many. Reptiles of the Sydney region. I actually never saw that book before.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think I picked that up for $5 off eBay.
Oh, wicked.
Yeah.
How did that slip past me? Actually, no, you found a good little haul on there, didn't
yes, you? I went through this lady's, I think I spoke about it. I went through ladies like an old eBay store.
Yeah.
Keeping reptiles and amphibians as pets.
Oh, that's cool. Who's that
Chris
by?
Banks. Chris Banks. Okay. I've never saw this book before as well. It's an older book.
That's pretty cool,
like 90s or something, I think. Where's it from? Okay, 1980.
Okay.
That's older than I thought. There you go.
Yeah, wouldn't have thought there was a book out then. And that's an Australian book by the looks of it as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got a jungle. It's got a what is it? A water dragon. Yeah. Definitely looks Australian.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That might be a bit of a relic.
Got a Lizards of Australia, Stephen Swanson.
Yeah, sweet.
There's a few more of those ones I need to get. I know that for a fact, but and then this one I've never seen before. Just the snake. I don't even know.
The snake.
Yeah, that was $5.
Well, it's not very descriptive, but yes.
No.
$5 is $5.
Yeah, that's right.
That's a coffee.
It was in the same purchase as all the other ones. So.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, you can never have too many books.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree.
So, and I may have just dropped them all.
That's what that thud sound was?
Yep.
Oh, dear.
Anyway.
Oh, good stuff. What do you recommend?
Yeah.
Wrap up this show?
Sounds good to me.
We'll probably end up chatting anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, guys. We'd like to say a massive thank you to Eric and Owen and the rest of the MPR crew for having us. If you'd like to contact them, it's best to find them at moreliapythonradio.com and email them at info@moreliapythonradio.com. Make sure to follow the MPR network on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube as well. As far as contacting us and our social media platforms, you can email us at australianherpetoculture@gmail.com. And you can also find us on Facebook and Instagram as well. And make sure to check out our Teespring store for some podcast merch. We do have the link over on the Facebook page. To see more of what Jason is doing, make sure to follow him on Facebook and Instagram at The Gecko Effect. And for myself, you can find me on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Patreon, and Teespring under Beach and Scaly Beasts. We hope to have you back next week for another episode of the Australian Herpetoculture Podcast. Good night, everyone.
Good night.